And hello. Welcome back to the Gay Racing Podcast. Zack and Alex are back with you to talk about NASCAR at the Charlotte Roval. IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Series was at their season finale at Petit Le Mans. We're going to talk about that a little bit. But mostly, of course, the cutoff race for the round of 12 to see who makes the round of 8. And I'm so excited for the round of 8. I am wearing my cute little Hendrick Motorsport shirt, 40th anniversary. It's a really nice shirt, actually. It's like the soft red color.
It looks nice.
Because I wanted to celebrate all 4 Hendrick drivers getting into the round of 8. It's, a thing that's only happened like a few times in history.
Zach,
it's a big deal in their 40th anniversary season.
Zach, I don't know. What? Zach, you must have missed some breaking news.
Last night I was chilling. I wasn't really looking at my phone a lot. Yeah.
What? Alex Bowman got disqualified. Did you not see that?
Oh, that's news.
Yeah, he got disqualified after the race, so he's no longer in the round of 8. Sorry to break it to you like that. Do you have to change your shirt now, or
I might have to change my shirt? Maybe no shirt. Do I just take my shirt off? I don't know.
Maybe that's for our Patreon.
That's just for our Patreon. That's yeah. Shirtless GRP on Patreon. That might actually work. Oh my god. So we'll talk about the Alex Bowman DQ and why. I personally don't know if that's gonna. I don't know if we're at the end of the story. That's what I'll say for now. We'll talk about Tyler Reddick's his run into the round of 8. And how, it doesn't really matter anymore, but it'll still, kind of the highlight of the race, fun to see. Some NASCAR inconsistencies, perhaps. We'll look at the final 8 that we have fighting for the championship and talk about maybe some Joey Logano voodoo magic as well.
And on top of that, Zach, we have a lot of tea to get through today, too.
We do have a lot
buckle
of
up.
Packed. Yeah, this is, I don't know if it's negative. It's not really negative. It's just, we're going to get a little negative today.
There's some hot tea in there. If you're an IndyCar fan, you might want to stick around. If
it might hurt your tongue if you don't
some reports.
Yeah. Yes. So anyways,
let's get started.
Yeah. Sorry.
The Charlotte Roval, Zach. A lot of people are kind of sick of this race. In my opinion, I like the Roval. I don't know how you feel about it. I think it's fine.
I mean, Jeff Cluck put a poll today, like, do you want the fall Charlotte race to be on the oval or the Roval? And someone replied, well, it depends on the car, because the Gen 7 era, I want it on the oval with, the Gen 6 car, Gen 4 car, even, really, honestly, any other car, probably the road course, right? My thing is, because we already have 600 miles of oval racing in the spring with the 600, I think it makes sense to have the Roval race in the fall.
Same.
It's a unique road course. It's one of probably the best road course to actually watch in person because you can see everything. And the adjustments they made to it, adjusting the track, creating that hairpin, undoubtedly made the racing better, if you ask me. Yeah. I think it's fine. I just wish the road course racing was better. I mean, the Xfinity race was pretty fun to watch. So
definitely.
Yeah, I think it's great, but I can see why people want the oval. Because of the way the next gen car is. So
I like the Roval because it's given some prestige back to the 600 in a time when the 600 is really good. So I like that. But Kyle Larson won in pretty dominating fashion. It feels like if Larson wins, he's going to do it in a pretty big way. Yeah. He led most of this race. I'm pretty sure SVG led early on. But the main thing we'll talk about with Kyle Larson is, Zach, he says he's going to go on vacation.
I would too, to celebrate how dominant he was. Apparently he's going to some wedding. Yeah. And I heard so a lot of people, it was Nick Bromberg, he kind of pointed out that's a little weird for an athlete, most important time in the season as we enter the round of 8. You're going to Las Vegas. You could lock in your spot to the final 4. Going on vacation, that's a little, you're not preparing. You're not going to be focused or whatever. I get that. And this is probably controversial for me to say. I agree with that to an extent. I don't think it's really going to matter because, Kyle Larson knows how to drive at Las Vegas. He knows how to win at Las Vegas. He's won there like 1, 2, 3 times.
Yeah.
With in the past. I don't even know. Like he wins there a lot. So it's not really a big deal to me. I think he'll be fine. And what Denny Hamlin is also going, and they must have a mutual friend. It's one of their friends' weddings. So whatever. I think and again, how much driver prep is there really for something like Las Vegas where it's a mile and a half? Yes, Las Vegas is a little bit unique, but it's a mile and a half. Most of the prep is going to be into, I feel like, setup because it's such a fast track and handling's going to matter. So I think I'm not really too worried. Larson's going to know what he's doing. And he races different stuff all the time without preparing for the whole week, you know? Like, he'll be fine.
I'm not concerned for him at all. Plus, he has a 33-point buffer. I mean, this is the penultimate round. Like, you really need to be on your A game, but he has a pretty good buffer. He's probably going to be the one to make it on points if he doesn't win a race. And I think he will win a race. But the thing is, he's so good this year. He can miss a race. He's still the points leader without the playoffs, by the way, even though he missed a 600. And he's going to go on vacation during the playoffs, and he's still probably the championship favorite. I think that's pretty cool.
He's having like a really good season, even though like if you look at his average finish or if you look at the Winston format, he wouldn't be up there fighting for well, he might be kind of up there, but it's the fact that he's like dominated so many races. He has the most stage wins by far. I think it's definitely over 12 at this point. It's those stages and those stage points that like put him so high in both like, you know, no playoff points and if you know, the actual format that we use. I think with the round of 8, as we'll probably talk about later, none of these drivers can afford a mistake except Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson is the only one that can afford a mistake.
Yep.
Which is a huge advantage. And he's going to 2 of his best racetracks as we start the round. So he's got a chance to go into Martinsville not even having to really do much. So that's great.
For sure. Yeah. So good for him on winning the Roval.
Yeah, good for him.
Tyler Reddick, the regular season champion, barely makes it into the next round. He would not have made it pre-Bowman penalty and disqualification without the stage win and the regular season championship win. Just we've talked about this several times now. He's had a really bizarre off playoffs. We were theorizing maybe they never really let up while other teams backed up to focus on the playoffs. We're not really sure what's happened with 2311 and with the distractions off track. They've sued NASCAR, the team has. But Tyler Reddick ended up winning that stage. And then he did that on strategy. And then at the start, on a restart, he was back in like 27th, gets involved in a little incident, got some toe link damage. It looked like his championship might be over, but he ended up coming back through. And I think ended up finishing like +5 above a Logano.
Yeah, I'm trying to check where he was. Trying to check where he was like after the Bowman penalty. Here it is. Bowman was 20 points short of Logano, so it wasn't close at all after the Bowman penalty. I just wanted to check.
But that was probably the highlight of the race, was watching Reddick kind of recover from this late in the race. It was pretty neat. It kind of showed the importance of the full season because even though he's kind of just been mediocre, quite frankly, he's still able to advance, and that just shows that the regular season does matter with this format. What did you think of Reddick making it in before the Bowman stuff?
Yeah, I think it was good to see that, you know, someone could actually pass with fresh tires. Number one, I mean, that was good. And it definitely was kind of tense because it was literally a margin of 1 point. I was thinking some games were going to be played because in front of him was Hamlin and Truex, two, you know, Toyota teammates. Hamlin obviously being the owner, and people were still saying that happened. I don't even think it would have mattered. Well, obviously it wouldn't have mattered, but like, I don't even think like you can even get in trouble for that. I don't know. I don't think you should get in trouble for team orders and stuff because that's just a part of racing, in my opinion.
Right.
One thing I do want to point out though is that before the Bowman penalty, Reddick, or rather the 45 team, did not make the round of 8 because of the difference of, you know, God, I hate how complicated it is to explain, but Larson, the 5 car started the 600 without Larson. Yes. So the 5 car actually won the regular season championship, which means the 45 car did not get those get as many bonus points. So it's a huge deal that Bowman penalty happened, because now, actual 2311 actually has a car in the playoffs. It wasn't just Reddick. So, and honestly, it's better for everyone if everything's in sync, because TV doesn't really do the best job. I mean, no one mentioned the fact that the 22 was in the owners playoffs when the race ended, until Joey said it himself. So it's better for everyone if it's in sync, honestly.
Right. And even then, Joey Logano would have been in the owners playoff even before all the penalty stuff happened. So the 22 is still going to be fighting for a championship in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but
this really does just make it less complicated, because now we were talking like Kyle Larson not racing the 600, inevitably change the owner playoffs. But thankfully, assuming the Bowman penalty stands, that won't matter as of now. But speak of penalties, Zach, there were other penalties in this race, because NASCAR announced Sunday morning that they were going to start penalizing for cutting the final corner at the Roval. This is after they talked with the drivers about, I guess, like the turtles that were there.
So Saturday, the drivers were complaining, notably Truex and a little bit of Kyle Busch. They were complaining, they're old. Their back hurts, man. I'm surprised. I bet Denny hated it too. Like the curbs and them landing from the 4 foot? 4 foot? That doesn't sound right. 4 inch. I think 4 inch curbs. Would that be right? 4 inches is 4 inches, isn't it? I don't know. Anyways, they were complaining about how tall the curbs were. And then the car landing back on it. And these next gen cars, they're just so stiff, I guess.
Yeah.
They're just so stiff. And it hurts when you land. So NASCAR Saturday night, after the Xfinity race, replaces them with shorter curbs. But now, because the curbs are shorter, there's less of a deterrent for a car to cut the corner, right? Because it's just not much of a curb there. So then they had to enforce track limits, because it's just like how Watkins Glen was, before where it's just basically a flat curb and you can go how far you want. So they had to enforce track limits somehow, and they decided to do it where it's 2 left wheels. Both left wheels have to be touching the red and white. They can't both be on the blue at the same time. Yeah, which wasn't very clear at all.
Bubba Wallace got a penalty for cutting the corner. It was very obvious that he did. But then in the same clip that NBC showed on air, William Byron was like 2 cars behind him and did something pretty similar. It was a lot closer. But one of NASCAR's people on social media responded saying, hey, the 24 it was really close, but the 24 still had 2 tires on the red and white. And if NASCAR's saying it, that's what happened. But
I guess
the problem here is whether or not this is true or not. We'll talk about what happened in the Xfinity race later. Just all of the calls NASCAR has made, the inconsistency and the frustration. Like you can go back to the Talladega last week with the whole, the push trucks and cars getting into the pits and getting time under essentially a red flag to work on their car. There's just so many problems with current NASCAR where it's like, no matter what they do, there's going to be heavy scrutiny and criticism of any move NASCAR makes right now. And it's justified.
It is justified. And they doubled down on the Talladega truck thing, the tow truck thing, because they said going forward, we will officiate this as we did at Talladega. So they changed the rule without letting people know at Talladega, basically, because Chase Elliott was in the wreck. And that's bold of me to say, right? Like, well, they didn't do it because of Chase Elliott. Well, how do we know? That's the problem, Yeah. So, but that's that's an aside.
To clarify, I do think NASCAR probably did make the right call with Byron, that they're like, it's a no call. And you look at the photo. It is super, super close.
It is super close. Like, there's got to be a better way to officiate it than just looking at a photo.
I agree. I feel like it should have been like, if we see any blue to the left of your car, you get a penalty or something.
Well, also, it's one of those things where it's like the Xfinity cars had no problems with those curbs because they're normal stock cars.
Yeah.
I'm just, it's just one of these next gen things where like, oh, it hurts my back. Oh. Like I'm not that's not on the drivers. Like it's not the driver's fault that the car is hurting them. That's not their fault. It's just like, why are we racing this weird stock car? I don't know. It's because, again, it's better to just have curbs that deter you from cutting the corner than NASCAR having to police it. Because God forbid, NASCAR cannot. They are not very good at this officiating thing. We don't need to give them any more work to do. They are already overwhelmed enough in that tower trying to figure out. They can't even see a car in the wall. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, NASCAR playoffs, as you all know, this was an elimination race. 4 more drivers got eliminated, or at least 3. At least 3 got eliminated.
At least 3.
So Chase Briscoe, Daniel Suarez, and Austin Cindric are all eliminated from the playoffs. I want to shout out Austin Cindric because if that Talladega wreck does not happen, he was leading. Even if he doesn't win, he's probably going to top 5.
That makes me sad.
And then he finishes 4th at the Roval. He's probably going to advance, like probably pretty easily.
That he dominated Talladega. And it's like, and that's the thing with super speedways. Like running up front's honestly the most dangerous place to be because like you're going to get wrecked. It's just so sad that happened because he did everything he needed to do. I mean, he ran up front yesterday. I don't even know where he finished, like top 5, I think, or he was
4th.
4th, yeah. So that's just sad. I mean, that 2 team definitely deserved better. They made the most. They were, I mean, what we saw Suarez and Briscoe, 2 other, wild card teams. They were nowhere to really be seen in this round. But Cindric was one of the few wild card teams that did make it into the playoffs that was trying to prove, hey, we're not just a wild card. We are here to run fast. They made the most of the schedule that was given to them. All these road courses and super speedways. This was definitely their strengths, and they almost made it. Like, kind of. So good for them.
Barring that big wreck, I think they would have made it easily.
Yeah.
And as we started off with the show here, Joey Logano, the even year trend looks like it was over, but it's not.
It's not Logano over until it's over.
It's not Logano over till it's over.
It's not Logano over till it's over. The even year trend will continue even if God himself has to step in. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
And I love everyone saying that this is so Mickey. And like those restarts at Nashville are the only reasons he's in the playoffs. And I'm like, okay, true. Yeah. But also, and then like when he missed it at first, when Joey the driver missed it at first, like people were looking back at the Austin Dillon thing and the 5 points that he would have gotten if he, Richmond was a normal race.
Yeah, Logano would have made it in over Tyler Reddick if not for the Richmond finish with Austin Dillon taking him and Denny Hamlin out.
Yeah.
That's 5 points.
Yep.
Yeah. So Joe Log, as I like to call him, back in the playoffs after Alex Bowman's penalty. As we've said now several times, Alex Bowman got disqualified for having the car was underweight going on in there. In skinny legend.
He's so skinny. Imagine penalizing Alex Bowman for being too skinny.
Good for him.
Good for him.
What a queen.
What a queen.
And Zach, you and I were talking last night. This really just kind of pales in comparison to all the other headlines in NASCAR lately. It's like, oh, okay. Like we were shocked. Like you texted me my name in all caps when you saw it.
Well,
and we're like, oh. And
of all the playoff drivers to get like DQ'd and eliminated like that, it's like Bowman's like the least impactful.
Yeah.
It's not like Denny. Oh my god, imagine
if it was Denny.
Imagine if Denny got DQ'd and then it's like, of course NASCAR DQ'd him because of all the charter or all the lawsuit, right? That would have blown up.
But even,
oh my goodness.
Even if it was like a Blaney, like that would have been crazy because he's the reigning champion going into a really good round for him. It'd been crazy. But Bowman is just kind of like, okay.
Well, another thing too, because of just the poor decisions NASCAR has made lately, if they ever did a thing, which I don't think they will do, if they added Bowman back to the playoffs as the 9th car, a la what they did with Jeff Gordon in 2013, it would be stupid, but also that pales in comparison to all the other dumb stuff they've been doing lately. I'd be like, all right, whatever, just race. Yeah. Let's just race. Like, okay. I'd be like, okay, I get it. Whatever.
So if Hendrick appeals this and they win, I assume what'll happen, Logano stays out and Bowman goes in.
Yeah, that's why
I
assumed
doubt
that.
they would do a ninth driver, but if they did, like you're saying, I would not be like phased, honestly. I'd be like, okay,
I wonder if
sure.
that would like. I don't think. I think Bob said the appeals would all happen this week, but what happens if they want to reappeal the first appeal and then it goes in
Right.
the next week, or is that not going to happen? Like, are they going to hear it then the next day or something? Like,
Yeah.
like this timeline has to move quickly because if Logano's in the playoffs at Las Vegas, then I feel like you can't take him out the next week. You know what I mean? That'd be kind of lame.
Like, what if he wins Las Vegas and he's still like, it's still in that.
Then he's in the championship 4 and then you take him out of the championship. That'd be, I don't know.
Ooh,
So
that's
it's like,
messy.
I don't think that's going to happen. I assume all of the appeals are going to get heard this week. Like that's going to be a priority since it's a playoff situation.
Yeah. So as of us recording, Hendrick has not appealed. This is 4:20 Eastern, and they have not appealed yet. Bob Pocker says they have until 4 Eastern. So by the time we're done recording,
put it in 4 Eastern. Yeah, that's So maybe I don't know. My thing is, so people are talking about how when Bowman hit the curb, I don't know if you mentioned this, when Bowman hit the front stretch chicane, like they saw something come out of the car.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a piece of like tungsten, like what they used to like add.
5 Eastern, but yeah.
Oh, 5 Eastern. I don't know if it's something that they add to like, it could have been something that they added to get the car, you know, balanced in weight or whatever. I don't know. I'm gay. But I think like, so NASCAR could argue that was crash damage. Apparently NASCAR already gives, like in their rules, there's already a tolerance given for like random things that fall off the car. I don't know if that includes crash damage, because I guess if like your whole car crashes, it's going to be very underweight because most of everything's laying out on the track. So I don't, and I know if like a piece of lead or tungsten or something falls out of the car, that's a huge penalty because of the safety issue, right? I mean, it's a heavy piece of metal or whatever. So I don't know if they could argue that, like, oh, we hit this curb and this was damage and it fell out of the car, so that's damage. This rule doesn't apply to us. But why was that not secured? I don't know if that's how that's going to work. I don't know. So I'm gay,
right?
But that's some chatters I kind of saw on Twitter last night. So this will be in, but. Just with how Hendrick has gotten away with appeals, maybe not gotten away, but how
they've won appeals.
They've won appeals. They win appeals. So I would not be shocked if me wearing this Hendrick shirt, if I am going to be celebrating all 4 Hendrick cars in the round of 8, which, by the way, if that was going to be only the 3rd time in history that ever happened. 2016 Joe Gibbs Racing, and then 2018 Stuart Haas, I believe.
Yeah.
So that would have been really cool, but alas, not meant to be right now. But I think there's a possibility it changes. Before we move on,
yes,
Logano, can we talk about like to be taken out and then put right back in? He's fired up. He's going to win this championship. Possibly.
I think he was ready to go fight Austin Dillon after the race for something happened a couple months ago.
Yes. Well, it affected him. It really did.
It did.
I think he could. I mean, he won this Las Vegas race 2 years ago.
Route to the championship.
I think he's really good at Martinsville lately. I think he's going to be at Phoenix fighting for a championship. Mark my words. Especially now that he's been given new life. Oh my God. That 22. We know Penske. We know Penske.
Yep.
And if they could put 2 cars in the Final 4, which they have a very good opportunity to do, oh, this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be so fun. So,
and I will say, whether or not they stay in or they get kicked back out because of the appeal, whatever happens, they're still racing for a championship in the owners, no matter what happens.
That's true.
So I don't think you're going to see a change on the 22 team at all.
I don't know, because like not having that yellow banner and the media's not talking about you, I think that definitely has an effect. I don't know if it's a positive or negative effect, but I mean, we didn't see Larson do much in 2022 when that 5 car was still in it. Another thing before we move on,
yes,
with Logano, like, oh shoot, I forgot again. It was something with like, I know, darn it,
dang,
no, I hate forgetting.
If it comes back to you, you let us know, okay?
No. What was I gonna say? Oh, I hate this.
But we gotta move on, Zach. We gotta move on.
Okay.
I will say one thing I wanted to say: 7 of the 8 top 8 drivers in points are the top 8 in the regular season points, and Alex Bowman was 8th.
Okay.
And Joey Logano is 15th. So that's pretty cool.
I think entertainment-wise, I think it's better to have Logano in than Bowman. And I hate being an Alex Bowman hater. I feel like I'm being one of those Alex Bowman haters. Like, yes, he's been very good. He's just like, he was that one driver in the round of 8 that was just like, I don't know, man. He's not running races.
But he was having a really good playoff run. Like, he had scored more points than anyone.
But NASCAR is all about winning. That's the thing. No one cares if you're being consistent. And does consistency reward you? Of course it did. Yeah. It did.
I don't think he was going to make the Champ 4 because I don't see him winning the next 3 races. That's the thing. But Logano, you're right. The
other 7 drivers, they could make the championship 4. There is an argument for them to make the championship 4. I think that's why, entertainment-wise, it's better to have Logano in it. Not that that matters. That's what I wanted to say. Thank God I remembered it. I was going to bother me. Anyways, that's the ADHD portion of our programming. Next, I pull up the playoff graphic.
Yes. I'm so proud of you, Zach. You remember.
I'm just doing great. All right, let's make this cute like we did last week. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. So
playoff points going in to Las Vegas to round of 8. Kyle Larson plus 33.
As I said earlier, Larson's the only one that can afford a mistake. And it can't be a huge mistake, but he's the only one that can afford a mistake.
Yeah.
And still be fine. But also, this 5 team, he's won at all of these tracks in the past like 2 seasons. So I think he's great. 6 wins on the season. I mean, heck, got 5 more points or 6 more points yesterday. I don't remember if he won a stage. He didn't win a stage. So 5 more points yesterday. So
this is a really strong round of 8, by the way.
This might be one of the strongest in history.
Larson's probably the favorite, plus 33. I think he's going to make it. I think he's going to win a race. I don't know if he even needs to, as long as he's like solid top 10s. Christopher Bell's plus 13. Bell had an average finish of 6.33. I saw this stat from Trey Ryan on Twitter. I think it's the best of anyone this round, or the round of 12. He's quiet again. Hopefully Netflix is paying attention. Yeah.
Christopher Bell, his average finish has been insane. And
Very impressive.
To be fair, though, I think a lot of that is just because he hasn't had a DNF in the playoffs. And I think about everyone else.
That's still impressive considering how crazy the season's been.
But also, it's because, we've had 2 super speedways. Watkins Glen was crazy. I think it's a little, I don't know. But that's not taking anything away from not only Bell, but Byron had 3 top 3 finishes in the round of 12.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of drivers. Denny's been getting pretty good. Roval was whatever, but this is going to be kind of like last year. I think last year was also a really good round of 8 where literally we have all of them slugging it out, fighting for the win at Las Vegas and Homestead, which is probably those are some of the best races last year. I think this is where the playoffs get really good. It's kind of, honestly, a few weeks ago when the schedule came out and you were complaining about Talladega being the round of 8, I don't hate that because of it being Talladega in the round of 8. I hate it because it's not Las Vegas and Homestead in the round of 8 and Martinsville.
Right.
Because it's just, this is such a good round of racing.
It's the best round.
Enjoy
it while we can.
It's the best 3-week stretch of the year, honestly.
Let's keep going through our points here. Tyler Reddick is plus 10. I want to talk about him more in a second. William Byron is plus 4. Blaney minus 4. Hamlin minus 8. Elliott minus 9. And Logano minus 11. Tyler Reddick has barely advanced the last 2 rounds. And he was a regular season champion. He cannot keep bleeding out these points. He has been losing points, being right at the cut line.
Dude.
I find it difficult to see him making it to the championship 4. What do you think?
He has 4 finishes outside. He has 4 finishes 20th or worse in the playoffs.
I think good.
No top 5s. I am very concerned for him because again, Kansas. And I don't know if it was just, again, it's hard to judge these playoff drivers based off what they've done in the playoffs so far, because what happened before this week were such a different schedule. It was so weird. So, but I still look at Kansas and I look at Reddick and I'm like, girl, like he's just, I liked what I saw this weekend at the Roval because he was actually fast at a track that they're normally fast at. And really their major problems was just getting in an accident because they were in the back of the field at a hairpin, So I don't want to hold that against them. He finished second at Vegas. He's really successful at Homestead. I think he could have a really solid round, and he's got the advantage. He's above the cut line starting out. Like they should take that, and they should be confident, and I think they can have a good round, but I'm not 100% sure that's going to happen.
But with him, you have Ryan Blaney, who this is the round he really came alive last year. I mean, he won Talladega last year to get into this round, but he's really good in these tracks. Denny Hamlin, is Denny Hamlin gonna have a bit of a resurgence here? Chase Elliott can be pretty consistent, but the thing you're looking for is wins, right? And I look at the two Penske guys, Blaney and Logano, maybe an Elliott if he has a really, really good day. I just...
Why is Elliott the weakest playoff driver right now?
I'd say still Logano's the weakest, but
I know because I know Logano can go out here and win.
I agree, but
I don't think Chase
in terms of full season.
Yeah, but by the stats, yes, Logano's the weakest. I'm just saying, like, I don't see. I think Chase is going to have a tough time here. Like,
I agree. Yeah,
and it's honestly because of his he's had so many good finishes in the playoffs so far. It's just it's the fact that he's starting below the cut line. I don't know if he's going to be able to point his way in. Right. I don't think you can. This is, and that's what I love about this round. You can't really point yourself in.
Right. I think the only one who can is Larson.
No, yeah, exactly. Or maybe Bell, because I expect Bell to just still be on fire. Like if you're below the cut line going in, I think, and I know these margins are close, but still, I just think it's going to be so hard to outpoint these guys because they're going to be running like, if you're running third or second or whatever, they're going to be like 2 spots behind you. Like, what are you going to do? So,
and that's the other thing. Most of Reddick's points are from the regular season, while a lot of these guys have still been collecting points the past 5 weeks.
Yes. So, and I'm not saying that Chase isn't going to make the Final Four because I think they still have the potential. I mean, they could just turn it on, and any of these teams could. Byron hasn't won since the spring. He could. He's won at all 3 of these tracks recently. I mean,
so who's your champ for based on this list?
Oh, I think what was it earlier? I have Larson because it's the year of Larson. I have Christopher Bell because I think he's made the Final Four the last 2 years. I don't see why he wouldn't now. I have Joey Logano. Because yes, I do. I think Logano could win Vegas, Homestead, Martinsville. I think he could also win Martinsville. My 4th, I'm not entirely sure. I don't have a lot of confidence in Reddick, but it would make sense if he was there. Byron, maybe. Hendrick's been kind of good lately, honestly. Yeah. So maybe Byron. Blaney, I don't know.
Blaney was really good at Kansas.
He was.
So I think he's going to be super strong at Vegas, and Homestead and short tracks have been his best.
Yeah, to me, it's Larson, Bell, Logano. I don't know who my 4th is. I'm having trouble picking a 4th, but
no consideration for Hamlin or Elliott for you?
No, Denny's, something's going to happen. I mean, something's going to happen. Yeah. But I'm not saying they won't. It's just my...
Yeah.
I think if I had to pick one, it'd be... Reddick is making sense to me. And maybe that's just because he's 3rd in points. So now I'm going to go Byron.
So for me, I think Larson's going to make it no matter what. Bell, Byron. I'm going to go with Blaney as my 4th. That could be some bias. But I think he's just going to really light it up this round like he did a year ago. Logano's the wild card. I think Logano could go out and just win a race, continue his even year streak. He's got a second chance here.
I think one of the Penske's make it.
Yeah.
I think Penske is going to try to keep this streak alive. I really think they will.
They're running the Jimmy Johnson playbook. I'm shocked no one else is like...
I think if your Final Four doesn't have Blaney or Logano, you're kidding yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a reason I'm not sure if I want to put Blaney in there, because like I almost have negative bias towards him because I don't know. Like he hasn't been quiet. It's just
Yeah.
He's just quiet to me. I don't know.
Well, with that, Alex Bowman, of course. If Alex Bowman were here, would you have put him in your Final Four?
Absolutely not. I wouldn't even consider him. Again, as I said earlier, like then that would actually free a spot up in the Final Four because then Logano wouldn't be here. So then I'd probably just take the 4 on the left or put Blaney in there maybe. So
right.
I don't know.
Well, we talked a bit about the whole Alex Bowman deal. We're going to transition into the T now because there was this tweet by our friend Cassie, former guest of Get Racing Pod.
Cassie Fambro.
A couple of years ago now. She put a tweet out saying, this series refuses to let any attention be on the racing itself. There always has to be some kind of damn controversy. And she posted this after the Bowman penalty came out. But it also applies to the Parker Kligerman situation in the Xfinity race. And goes with the Talladega situation from a week ago. And you can keep going off and off and off and off on this. And it is frustrating that NASCAR just kind of finds a way to shoot itself in the foot. Of course, a penalty, you have to issue those. If someone failed tech, you have to issue that. That's not necessarily NASCAR's fault, but it does at the same time still take away.
It's leading
from something.
I feel like every week it's like it's not about the racing. It's about, we're talking about tow trucks last week. The week before we're talking about a lawsuit, or I guess that's the same week, but then we're talking about a lawsuit. Now we're talking about a car being underweight. Now, like Bristol, we're talking about the races being boring and arguing about if races were good 20 years ago. Like, it's just, I liked arguing about Austin Dillon and Joey Logano, like at Richmond, because at least that was about something that happened on the racetrack during racing, you know? Like, it's just a little annoying. Or like arguing, was Denny's strategy at Atlanta stupid or dumb, right? Like, and this kind of transition into what happened Saturday at the Xfinity race, to where we couldn't just have a nice straightforward race or even a straightforward overtime restart. NASCAR, are we going to transition into that? Like NASCAR had to call it so close at the line. Parker Kligerman leading. He held off. Who was he fighting? Was it Sam Mayer and like Allmendinger, SVG? They were trailing behind him. Really good battles with Sam Mayer. Sam Mayer like either burned his stuff up or he had transmission problems. He lost a lot of his gap. Parker had it literally in the bag. Parker literally crossed the start and finish line. White flag. As we saw, though, before the white flag, we saw, I believe it was Leland Honeyman in the wall, like kind of in the turn 3 area in the infield section. And he's like under the tire barriers. And apparently NASCAR didn't see it. Oh, do you need glasses? You couldn't see it. Well, honey, it's right there.
NBC showed it.
I saw it. And I don't think they have a TV delay because they're there at the track.
So, like, people were asking Bob Pockrass, like, "Hey, Bob, does NASCAR not follow the TV feed in case they miss something?" And Bob said they have access to it. So,
and they also have they spotted earlier in the race. They spotted a little piece of debris on the track, but they don't see a whole car in the wall.
NASCAR, do you need someone to like watch the broadcast for you and then like alert you like, hey, there's a car crash that NBC found?
Yeah.
I'll do that. Like, let me know. I'll do that for you. It was that car wrecked for about 15, 20 seconds before there was a yellow. And they waited until right as Parker Kligerman took the white flag.
Yep.
Why on earth would you wait till right then and there? You either need to do it the second it happens, or if you don't want to go to overtime, which I'm fine with personally, just let him take the white, and then it's over.
We talked about this at the Brickyard.
Yeah.
And they saw Ryan Preece spin. It's not like that was a secret.
Yeah. But my problem with this is, without NASCAR overtime, NASCAR's not playing games on when they throw these late cautions. They're not playing games. They're not trying to see... matter. Exactly. They're not trying to see, let's see if he can get going before we throw the yellow. Or sometimes they're really quick on it too. If it's not even worthy of it, they'll throw a caution right away as they won overtime. If you don't have overtime, which I've said they should get rid of, this is not even a question. The race can just end under yellow, and that's fine. But we have to play little games like this, or we have to hope NASCAR sees an incident, and then they see it rise across the white. It's so goofy to me. It is such a waste of time. And look, the caution probably should have been thrown before the white flag was thrown.
That's what makes me feel better about the whole thing. Because, like, well,
right. So
to be fair,
Parker Kligerman was probably not going to win this race if they threw the caution when they probably should have.
Yeah.
So I do feel bad for Parker Kligerman. That really sucks. But that's on NASCAR for not throwing it when the incident actually happened.
It's so cruel to let him get all the way to the right. Literally the white flag. Yeah. That is cruel. And honestly, again, did anybody really want to see this overtime? Because that was a great story. And should the story matter? No. But I feel like overtime, more often than not, just ruins a good story or makes a race just get stupid. Because honestly, does anyone really want to see a race? Do people really want to see? I don't know. Maybe this is just the racing purist in me. Does anyone want to see a guy who like ran away from a hard battle with Sam Mayer? He ran away from him. He won the battle. He deserved that win. Did anyone really want to see another restart? Maybe.
I didn't.
Parker Kligerman deserved that.
Because in the lead up to that, Kligerman and Mayer, that battle was so much fun to watch. I was really engaged. I only watched stage 3 of this race.
I didn't need a restart.
It was awesome. And Parker Kligerman, like you've been saying, had a really good story. He's ending his full-time racing career in a few weeks. He's going to be focusing fully on NBC.
I would too. I know it was like he made the decision before, the race, but I'm like, I would too.
He hasn't won an Xfinity race before. It was going to probably be one of the most cool celebrations ever. It'd be really emotional for him. So like, that's one thing, right? You lose that. But why did they wait till right then? I cannot get over that part. They waited till the exact moment he was taking the white. You're causing yourself so many problems by doing it right then and there. Yeah, like if you're like, oh, we missed it, he's coming to the white, just hang on a second, we'll just call it. Like, I know that'd be controversial, they should have thrown it earlier, but at least that you're not causing this whole mess of a situation.
We could have either been talking about the great Cinderella story of Parker Kligerman, or we could have been talking about the heartbreak of Parker Kligerman not being able to clutch up on a restart. Instead, we're talking about, again, not about the racing. We're talking about a few feet from the start and finish line.
It's frustrating.
And that's kind of going back to what Cassie tweeted. Like this, it's always got to be on some controversy.
And this happens so often. So often. Yeah.
Too often. Especially at super speedways.
It's so avoidable.
When the race ends under caution. I mean, this was a whole debate at the Daytona 500. The caution determines when the caution comes out. But then the thing was it's actually about the timing of the caution, not the light, because you have to press the button and then the light comes on. Can we just talk about the racing? Right. Can we just not focus on the stuff? Overtime's so stupid. I know that situation's still going to happen overtime or not, but that's why also though I kind of prefer scoring loops, even to just be used at the end of the race anyways. But that's a different discussion.
Yeah,
different discussion.
Well, speak of the Xfinity series, the CW has been covering those races. NBC is still doing them. Next year will not be NBC, it'll be the CW and NASCAR Productions doing it. Adam Stern reported that the CW is considering a remote booth for some races in 2025. What do we think? Yay?
It depends what some means. Does some mean the races that aren't at Cup weekend? So like Portland, or where else do they have a standalone race? I don't even know. Like, aren't they going to the Rock?
Yeah, they're doing the Rock.
So maybe the Rock weekend, even though there's no Cup race that weekend, but maybe they want people off for Easter. They don't have as many people there. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I think that's fine if it's just for some races. I don't like it when it's like the Truck Series and they do it for the last half of the schedule. because
without Fox
they don't have
does
the
it.
Cup Series anymore. Like, that's dumb. I think if it's just for a few races, it's whatever. If it's for like a lot of races, like most of them, because I figure it would either be like a very few or most of them. I don't think it would just be like half. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Because like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna do it, it should be for a specific reason. Like, Cup cars aren't here this weekend, or this is just how we're gonna do it for most weekends, unless it's like, I don't know, Daytona or something. So I think a remote booth, I feel like, has potential if it's done with care and quality. We haven't seen that happen yet. So I'm going to assume that's just not what we want.
I agree. I think it can be done right because most of the time the people in the booth are only looking at what we can see on screen, and they're looking at all the data, right? They're not really looking at the actual racing, except when you get someone like Dale Jr. who does look out there and then yells crash or anything like that.
We noticed that at NBC in 2020 when they were before the first, until like the very end of the season, they were at Charlotte in a booth, not at the racetrack.
So that'll be interesting to follow.
Yeah.
And IMSA also happened this week, Zach. It was Petit Le Mans weekend.
It's like if Petit Le Mans, 10 hours at Road Atlanta, one of the best road courses in the country. It's like IMSA's, it's like the sports car racing version of either the Southern 500 or the Bristol Night Race. It's both. It's both. Like, it's just both. It's like, if it's so cool. Ringer Van de Zanda wins for Ganassi in I believe it was Ganassi's final like race with the Cadillac program.
Yeah.
CGR is coming back next year, right?
I don't know.
I don't know what
IMSA's weird because Meyer Shank left for a year and then they're coming back next year. Not sure. But Ganassi ended up winning this race, but the thing with Ringer Van de Zanda is that he lost his headlights.
They're aiming to stay in it, according to this one Reddit thread.
But Ringer Van de Zanda lost his headlights, so he had no headlights. There's no lights around Road Atlanta.
Yeah.
So they need their headlights. And then eventually he only had one headlight working.
It kept going off and on. The tail lights are like blinking, by the way, while this is going on. Like, what did they? I wonder if there was an explanation for what was going on. Like, was it just some kind of weird electrical fault? Because these race cars are complicated. But just the fact that his lights went off, and it's dark. There's not a lot of like lighting around Road Atlanta. It is dark, and the fact that his lights went off for like a good portion of the lap, and he's still just running. He even passed a few GT cars like with no lights on, like. Considering how dangerous that is and how hard that must be, I'm like, oh my, these are the best race car drivers in the world. I mean,
and for the record, if those headlights had stayed off for too long, IMSA would have called them to the pits to fix it. But it came back on, so they let him stay out there. So impressive.
These are the best. We talk about this race every single year, and a little bit with Sebring too. When these guys are doing this racing at night, at a track like Road Atlanta, like, it's not, when you see it on TV, it's just unreal. What these drivers are doing. They are passing like cars every single lap. They're passing cars every single lap in corners. In corners, they are passing. They're not waiting for the straightaway. They don't have time to wait for the straightaway. Oh, it's at night. Oh, your headlights aren't working either. Like, these guys are the best race car drivers in the world, and I will stand on that. I will stand on that. They are better than NASCAR, better than F1, better than IndyCar. They are the best. Because that's unreal.
And on the other side of that, not winning Petit Le Mans was Wayne Taylor Racing. Again, every year they lose this race in some way.
Didn't they get... What happened? I forgot.
I wasn't watching.
Jesus, Alex.
You weren't watching either. You're asking me. But I wasn't watching at the time when that happened. You just sent me the picture of Ricky Taylor looking sad.
Because I don't know if they've ever won Petit Le Mans. They've like...
I don't think so. See, I should have known you were going to ask me.
Oh my God, Alex, shut up. So it's been a race that they've been very close to winning the last few years, but they I believe they got involved in the incident with Pipo Derani one year. Like, and that I don't know if that costed them a championship, but it costed them the win the win for Petit Le Mans. I'm trying to check what happened.
Well, while you do that, I want to talk about Mikkel Jensen and Hunter McElrea because they won LMP2. And I just want to say that's probably like the hottest duo in racing right now.
He got in a crash.
They got
think
Wayne
it was
Taylor
a crash.
Racing did?
Yeah, I think it was a crash with I almost want to say it was with a GT car or something. Like I think a car crashed in front of him and there's nowhere to go. I remember that now. Yeah, there was a car like kind of in the straightaway and he just hit him. So not much you can do.
Have you seen Mikkel Jensen and Hunter McElrea, Zach?
Yes, you talk about them every time. We get it, Alex. They're hot. We get it. Mikkel Jensen and
see, you forgot his name. You don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm putting him on the thing so we can all see his beautiful. Oh wait, there's a model with the same name, but I don't think it's him. No, he could be a model if he wanted to. Anyways, I'm not going to actually pull the picture up. I'm lazy.
You're so lucky you're cute. I don't have time for this. So let's move on, shall we?
You just call me cute?
Yeah.
Oh, so you are gay? I thought you were just almost gay when you said those two race car drivers were cute.
I mean, it's the gay racing podcast, Zach.
It is? Why the hell am I here? Oh my god, I was playing iRacing and this dude was being really weird. And he said, will I get an interview on the gay racing podcast since I won? He's really weird though.
Well, if he's listening, hi.
I don't think he is. Well, maybe he is. He actually did sound like a fan.
Well,
he kept talking about us.
Called him weird.
He kept talking about us so much, he might be interested. So, I don't know.
All right. Well, speak of IMSA, NASCAR and IMSA are talking about having a race weekend together per Adam Stern. And my question is this not just NASCAR talking to NASCAR because NASCAR owns IMSA?
This is like if we're talking about something to do with GRP.
Zach and Alex are talking to the Gay Racing Podcast about collabing.
Yes, exactly. The Gay Racing Podcast is talking to Zack about doing an iRacing event. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Me and Alex are having a discussion. I don't know, because aren't there different like little branches? Like there's still,
there's probably two different. There not probably, but there are different management teams.
I mean, they got to collaborate on it still. And my question is, I don't care who's talking to who. My question is, what does this mean? Because I think it's a great idea. It's something that was really cool to see with the IndyCar weekend, but I think this is a lot easier to do because it's less of a chance that IMSA is going to feel like they're being pushed aside in their own backyard. Yeah, like how Indy was with the Indy weekend.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Honestly, I'm surprised that it's not a thing already. I wonder if it'll be at Chicago. There was that report a couple months back that NASCAR was looking at doing a race in San Diego. I'm assuming it'd be one of those two.
Yeah.
Or unless they bring IMSA to like Sonoma, or maybe they'll move the Watkins Glen IMSA weekend to the NASCAR race weekend eventually. But
I don't know. They used to do that a lot. They used to have a this was one of my favorite races. The Thursday night of the July Daytona race weekend, for a few years they had a little sprint race at Daytona for the Rolex series,
I don't remember this.
Or the Grand Am series, whatever IMSA was back then. So they did that for a few years. They used to have a sprint race Friday of Watkins Glen weekend for NASCAR. I don't know if they would do the endurance race because it's got more prestige and fitting it into the schedule would be kind of difficult. But yeah, they did it at Watkins Glen. I feel like they did it at other places too. I mean, they could do it in so many places. They could squeeze into the Roval weekend, although trucks are doing it next year, so I don't know if that would work. But they did that in 2020, I think, when they needed more races on the schedule. I think they had a GT race at the Roval. That was cool.
Yeah.
To be honest, and people might say, oh, IMSA at the Roval, that'd be stupid. Roval's not like a road course. Girl, they raced at Detroit this year. I think they can race wherever they want. Because Detroit's an awful racetrack. So I would love to see them, literally any track that's got a road course on it. I'd love to see it, to be honest. It could even be,
Right.
I guess not the Brickyard weekend, but maybe, again, literally anywhere. I would not hate it. And I think that'd be positive because I would love to go to a NASCAR race and an IMSA race is included. Like, oh my God, I get to see these cool race cars. More
Dude, that'd
cool
be
race
cool.
cars.
Wait, when you put it like that, yeah, that's
when you put it like that, and it's so beneficial for IMSA, and it's kind of like what we said about IndyCar a few years ago when they collabed with NASCAR on a weekend. Like, it's going to get people to actually check out your sport. Because I hate to say it, some motorsport fans are just NASCAR fans, and that is okay. That is perfectly okay. I get it. It's the most popular sport in America, or motorsport in America. So I get it. So I think that would be beneficial for everyone involved.
Something else that was pretty beneficial is that IndyCar on Fox, we're entering a new era. Here we go. IndyCar and Fox had their first big promotion with Fox Sports. They had a promotion during the NFL on Fox, which that was probably the largest audience IndyCar's had in quite a long time. And during this, there were some questions from people like, hey, who's the Fox booth going to be? And the AP's Jenna Fryer responded to them, saying that the Fox IndyCar booth will be James Hinchcliffe, Townsend Bell returning from NBC, alongside Alan Bestwick. This is per Jenna Fryer, just a post on Twitter. I would love this. Alan Bestwick's return. Alan Bestwick's the sole reason that I could tolerate when IndyCar was on ABC.
Oh my God. Scott Goodyear and Eddie Cheever, was it?
Mm-hmm.
They were commentating a golf game.
Yeah.
And I saw someone say yesterday that Alan Bestwick doesn't get excited. Like, are you kidding me?
I saw that. Like, what are you talking?
Sorry, he's not screaming like Rick Allen.
Right.
And like, sure, he doesn't get like as pumped up as Lee Diffie, but he's Lee Diffie.
He knows the moment, though.
I'm not comparing Lee Diffie to anybody because Lee Diffie is he's just the pinnacle, right?
Yeah.
Alan Bestwick knows what he's doing. He's exactly the type of person with the resume to call the Indy 500 and every other IndyCar race for that matter. And Townsend Bell, James Hinchcliffe, right at home.
Yep.
Which that just makes me happy. They are experts at obviously what they do. I notice in the Indy 500 ad, and I'm going to put it on the. Actually, no, I'm not. I don't feel like it. We might get copyrighted actually because it's a football game.
That's the second time you've done that. I'm going to put it on the screen.
No, well, it's a football game, so I don't know if they get copyrighted or not. But
yeah, fair.
Well, they use Joseph, Alex Palou, and Pato Award as like the three drivers that they have in the graphic.
And they're not cartoons yet.
Well, they're not yet. I would wait till we get to St. Pete. I'm not sure that we're gonna. I'm not sure.
Man,
I'm not sure. Are they using cartoons for football this year?
Yeah.
Wait, they are?
Yeah. They look better than NASCAR's because they actually have money going into them.
Oh, it's so bad. Oh no. I think they're gonna have cartoons, Alex. I think it's over.
Yeah. But if this is accurate, and Jenna Fryer usually is the first to report a lot of IndyCar things, this is awesome. Big win for Fox Sports here. And I've kind of had a feeling that this is what was going to happen because Alan Bestwick did attend the last couple IndyCar races last year. And usually when there's like a new person coming into a TV, they'll show up to the last few races. So
that's good.
Pretty cool. I'm excited.
That's really good.
And then this last IndyCar news here, we haven't talked about it on the pod yet. I think this got confirmed a week or two ago. Alexander Rossi is going to drive for Ed Carpenter Racing. And Crispin Rasmussen will run the full season this time. Ed Carpenter will still be doing the Indy 500. Any comments?
I like this because I think this gives Rossi still a really good shot to win the Indy 500 again. So
I agree.
Championship though, that's out. I think that's been out of the cards for a while for him. I don't see
him winning a championship. To be honest,
luckily this is the sport. This sport's all about the Indy 500. So I think he can. I think this is almost the perfect team to do it with. To be honest, because that team at this point specializes in the Indy 500 at this point. So fine by me. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, we're about to move on to fantasy, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
I'm gonna tell you what, my heart's beating.
So it is 5 Eastern. I just wanted to check Twitter.
Okay.
Bob Pockris says Hendrick Motorsports will not appeal the Bowman disqualification.
That surprises me. Wow.
Yes. They gave no explanation on how the car lost weight, but they didn't give enough of a margin to meet the post-race standards. So there you go. Joey Logano is locked in for sure now, the round of 8.
All right. Well, that's good to clear up then. I'm kind of surprised, though, that they didn't even try, but I guess there's just no... I guess it's just something that's black and white. So
I kind of thought they'd be like, well, when he went airborne like that.
Yeah, but I think because I think if they did lose weight like that, that's a huge penalty. You know what I mean? I think that'd be a huge penalty. This works. Oh my God, look how cute this is.
Oh, and it makes the screen not look as zoomed out.
I wish I could get rid of this thing, but I can't. Oh well.
This is cool. All right. Well, I got my pick. We're going to Las Vegas. I did get the win.
Oh my God. You tied it back up. I had a 3-point gap and we were like flirting with like 3 points, 2 points for like weeks on end.
Yep.
And you finally got that win and closed it back up.
21-21 with 4 to go.
So we entered the playoffs with tied, and now 6 races later, we are tied again. Are
we heading to Phoenix with a tie again? We've done it before.
Well, I don't think we would be able to tie going into Phoenix. I think, we wouldn't. I don't think mathematically there's a way we can be tied going into Phoenix. I think we could be tied leaving Phoenix.
Okay,
which I believe you would. You have more wins currently. You have more wins currently, so you have the advantage. Because you have 3 wins. Okay. I'd have to double check, but and then if I somehow get a win, I don't know. Anyways, I'm nervous. My heart's beating, but I'm very
quiet, nerd. Let's go.
Oh my God. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
3, 2, 1. I'm trying to pick Kyle Larson, and Alex is. Oh, he has a beanie. Alex is also trying to pick Kyle Larson. Is that from? Where is that from?
I just googled Kyle Larson and it showed up. It's from Bristol, apparently.
He's got a winter hat on. Was it really cold? He's not even. This is like a dirt race, though. He's not in his NASCAR.
The reason I picked this picture, I miss the beanies because, like, climate change.
The Charlotte Fall race.
Yes, it was like 80.
That's the only reason I want the Charlotte Fall race at the Oval, just for it to be a cold night race, and they qualify on Thursday night, and all of the cars need to be pink. If your car's not pink, you're eliminated. You're not racing.
You are not allowed.
Yeah. Oh my God. Just nostalgia. Okay. Oh, I gotta get my next one. Sorry. I'm just nervous. I'm about to pee myself. Like, I'm just so. I want to win. Like, I'm glad I dominated you in IndyCar, but I really need this. So.
All right. I got my next pick. Let's do it.
All right. I am also ready. So 3, 2, 1. I'm trying to pick Christopher Bell. Oh, we matched on Christopher Bell. Okay, I see how this is going to go. Okay. I see how this is going to go. Best average finish of the playoffs. I see how this one's going to go.
All right.
Oh, Jesus. All right. I need to stop opening a new tab every time I look for a picture. Let's see. What queen am I going to choose next?
Will this queen stand before me?
Will this queen stand before me? Lane at Las Vegas. All right, I'm ready.
All right.
All right.
Let's go.
You're ready?
Let's go.
You didn't say I'm ready too. You said all right. Okay.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Oh
William Byron! We're both matched on William Byron. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
We're running out of playoff guys here. There ain't that many left, so.
All right. Let's do this next one. I'm ready.
I'm grabbing a picture. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Don't tell me it's Denny. Okay, thank God. So, funny thing, Alex, I actually meant to pick Denny instead of Byron, but I missed it on my note sheet.
Oh, okay.
So that was funny. And then I was like, damn it. Because I was really nervous that you were going to have Denny now. I was like, damn it.
Oh, no.
Blaney.
I
kind of wish. No, I think I feel better that you have Blaney. So I think that worked out. Because Byron's been really fast lately. I don't know. Blaney
I think those first 3 are good. Blaney, I think it's going to be solid top 5. I know I need a win. That's why I picked 3 others first. Zach. I thought you were going to go with Logano.
You don't need a win. Well, okay.
I want to win.
Last evening, I thought about Joey. Like before the race ended, I thought about picking Joey next week because I knew I was going to lose fantasy. So I was already thinking about next week's fantasy. I was like, Logano could go out here and win. I don't know. I don't want to I just don't want to do that right now. I will be very mad if he does because I had an inkling about it. Denny, I think Denny's due for another win. He's been getting there, and he's going to be running up front because that's also about what it is. After Larson and Bell, and at this point, I just need someone that's going to finish up front.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I said that Denny's not going to make the Final Four, and here I am picking him to win Las Vegas. So what is the truth, Zach?
Are you lying? All men do is lie.
All men do. Did you just pick your Final Four, by the way?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I guess I could have done that. Oh, so then it would have made sense if I picked Logano, but
yeah.
Nah.
That's why I thought you were going to pick Joey.
I think Denny could definitely. I've been waiting. I'm like, when is Denny going to go back to victory lane? And he's got his mojo back, I feel like. I mean, he said on his podcast, he's relieved that crazy part of the schedule is over, and now it's Vegas, Homestead, Martinsville. Those are Denny Hamlin tracks, man. So
yeah.
Well, that's cool. This is gonna be good. I think this could be a really close battle. I mean, I think they're gonna be battling for like third. I have a feeling.
Yeah,
I think. Well, another thing about Bell, and I debated picking Hamlin over Bell because Bell has been throwing races away. Remember Kansas?
Mm-hmm.
Bell has an opportunity to win and maybe challenge Larson Sunday, or even just beat Larson, because Larson, at Kansas didn't qualify that well, couldn't really make up track position. The thing with Larson had that damage at Kansas. I forgot. The thing with Bell, he's got to not make mistakes, like driver mistakes. Like he just cannot put that car on the wall. Do not put that car on the wall. This is not the round to do it. If he can withstand that pressure and execute, he'll be fine. So
I agree. All right. Well, I have Blaney. You got Hamlin. Well, you're good.
I feel good about that. I was so nervous about this picking today. But I said I felt good about having Buescher over Larson last week, and look what happened. So
And Buescher finished 17th.
Where the hell was he? Oh, my God.
He did get spun at one point, right?
Yeah, but he was running back there. He qualified back there. He just didn't. Every time I pick Buescher, he just does nothing.
Yeah.
I cannot pick him.
I've picked him, twice, and he's won? Or I picked him at least one time and he won.
You picked him at Daytona and he won. And I believe you picked him at Darlington and he was fighting for the win. So.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So close. You have pretty good luck with Buescher. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're wrapping up the episode here. Thank you all for listening or watching. We have a nice comment here. More of a funny comment. This is comment of the week from Tom Up Church 4911 on YouTube. They're joking about our title and thumbnail from last week, saying, always going for the pole. Right? Right, Zach?
What was our title last week? I don't remember.
We were it was huge.
Oh, huge. Yeah. Huge.
And then the title was...
it was really
all about
big.
Rec size or something. Yeah.
Yeah, rec size doesn't matter.
Yeah, rec size doesn't matter. Yeah. No. So thanks, Tom. You can rate us 5 stars on Apple and Spotify. 5-star reviews that are written on Apple, we'll read them. Like and subscribe on YouTube. We're closing in on 400 subscribers. On TikTok, we recently hit 500. Thank you guys. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/gayracingpod. And you can follow us on socials at Gay Racing Pod, at Zack Racing, and at Newgaden.
Yep. I'm trying to check because next week Formula One is having the United States Grand Prix. I'm trying to check when the race starts.
Oh, are they same time? I bet.
It's hard to tell because they're using.
Well, Vegas is going to be. Is Vegas is Pacific time, I think, or maybe it's
so 1500 is 3:00, isn't it? So
I don't know.
So F1 starts at 3:00 Eastern. Las Vegas might start later. It might start at like 6. I'm just looking it up right now. I wish start times are more consistent. Las Vegas NASCAR start time. Also, like 3:30. Okay, so we'll probably miss like part of the first stage. Also, although it's 3:30, like when NASCAR countdown starts, though, because sometimes like that's when the pre-show starts. I'm like, I hate that. Someone pointed that out on Twitter this weekend. I forgot who it was, but that always annoys me. Like when they say the race starts at 3, does that mean like 3:10 or like 3:30, 3:45?
I'm always looking out for Bob's tweet that clarifies.
So yeah, because it feels like it's always different. It must be. So we'll probably get to, I mean, when it's F1 as one of the races, it's really easy to watch two races side by side. It's really easy. So not feeling too bad about that. And it'll be the early NASCAR part. So that's fine. All right. So we'll talk about F1 a little bit if something happens. Hopefully Lando and McLaren can close in on Max and Red Bull. So we'll see you guys next week to talk about that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for today's episode of the Gay Racing Podcast. Make sure you follow us on all the socials that Alex mentioned, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.